This week, we cover some of the big headlines from E3 2017. Hardware, games, and teraflops. This is Modern Retro. Alright, welcome to Modern Retro. I am your host, Cuba, and the one doing the crazy dance down there is the Roy, and the one guys? On the other side is the Yeti.
Hi, no crazy news, no crazy dancing for me because it's supposed to be an audio podcast and the video is just supplemental.
It is.
Maybe it makes a clip show.
Great job, Roy. If you want to see Roy's crazy dancing, head to YouTube.
Go to youtube.com/modernretrocast or whatever it is.
Subscribe.
He gets so butthurt whenever I say, like, the priority of the podcast is the audio. He's like, but I'm in charge of the YouTube.
Well, I'm all caught up, so that's a good thing. I'm all caught up.
Well, I'm not. I have been negating the website. I apologize for it. I didn't get to update this last week. It'll be updated by the time this episode airs, but this last week I have not yet updated the website with the newest episode, giving it its own page and show notes yet. Because Sunday, we all went out kayak fishing, which is a story in itself. Amazing. Holy shit.
Oh, Jesus.
But the day before that... I spent the day power washing and stripping the deck of the paint, or beginning that process. The next day we went kayaking for 5-6 hours, and then the day after, so that was Sunday. So I was already tired. I had to come home. I had to edit that podcast. I was up till 11:30 or midnight or something like that, and I just had to get it out. I didn't even like the album art I made for it. I'm like, this sucks, but I'm fucking tired. I can't stay up anymore. So I just made sure that it was posted, that it was gonna air at normal time, but I had no more fuel in me to update the website. And then as of today, I just have not had a chance to get back to it. I was gonna do it last night, but last night was the hottest day of the year so far. It was 98 degrees or something like that. It's fucking crazy. I only have AC in my bedroom and the kids' bedrooms. So the rest of the house at night is just like a fucking lobster pot, just boiling fucking hot.
No, you don't get to complain. You don't get to complain because when it was 65, which for the white man is perfect. Me and Aaron, when it's 65, we don't complain. That's nice. That's
I'm not
perfect.
complaining. I'm not complaining about the heat. I'm stating how hot it was inside the house. Because if I slept outside, it would have been cooler than what it was inside the house last night.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's
I know because I went outside.
Especially
because it was cooler. Because it was 86 in the house. I checked the temperature, and it was 74 outside.
Oh, for you island people, that's fine. Shut up. You're good.
84 during.
You're good.
Either way, I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna update the website, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, gonna update the website. No, it's too fucking hot to move. I just didn't. I was just sweating. I don't sweat. So I just get sticky.
We get glistening.
Yeah, I don't Aaron's family sweats. When I've helped them move, you could fill Olympic pools with the amount
only the
of
head.
sweat.
We only sweat from the head down, and maybe the lower back.
That's because we're white men, Cuba. Genetically, we are meant for Northern Europe. We're meant for the slightly colder climate. You're made for this. That's why I'm you don't get to complain.
That's why I have to be in a sauna in order to get sweat. I mean, the living room last night was close to that, but I mean, like I said, I will remain mostly dry. Maybe down my back, a little bit of swass, but the most of my skin, I don't drip from my forehead. My arms don't just pour sweat. I just get a little sticky, and that's usually the extent of it. But it was so hot. I sat on the couch, not moving, going, all right, I can't update this. I have to go to bed. But then I spent another 20 minutes before I even was able to motivate myself to get up. It was just I just felt like a lizard when it's in the sun, can't move.
Seriously, it's rain or pain here right now. It's pissing me off. You get
today was a beautiful day.
Never
Are you
saw it.
still
I was working.
Are you still super sun? You can't really tell because of the light.
buddy.
Makes
I can't tell
I'll
from the
send you-
white sheen coming out when you move your shirt.
I'll send swing.
My whole like arm right here is just all red in the back.
Yeah, whenever when he moves his shirt, it's like the game Resident Evil, the old original ones when you find like a key and it goes swing, 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 swing.
Even sunburnt. So that's amazing. So the Modern Retro went kayak fishing on Sunday. Like, I've had my own for like 2 years, and Roy and I have been fishing together since we were teenagers. Aaron, I don't think has ever come fishing with us ever, let alone in a kayak.
He's never been outside. He's never been outside with us.
Yeah, that's true.
That's bullshit. We used to go like joyriding around town every once in a while, but that was
in
when
a
we lived like
car.
in the same town.
That was in a car. That is not. Yeah, that's not being in
We'd
the
sit
wild.
out by a lake and just like hang out.
Did you ever go to the fort at the island?
Yeah.
The fort.
Once.
All the way
Yeah,
at the end of the island. You have to cross the bridge
Yeah,
of
that
logs.
little rickety thing that we were at yesterday. Yeah, that's what I remember is crossing that and going that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody took that all apart and getting real meta in our lives here. But somebody took that all apart and burned it all and filled in the hole and assholes.
Dicks.
This is why we can't have nice things.
So we can't have
Why don't you
nice
just build
sports.
like an actual nice thing and just slap it down so you can walk across it?
No, he's not talking
not
about the
that.
bridge. He's talking about the fort at the end of the island.
Oh, really?
We made a
Jesus.
straight up building where we dug down like 4 or 5 feet in probably it was like a what? It was probably 5 by 8 maybe, or maybe a little bit larger, 5 by 10, rectangular.
Two dudes could sleep in the ground there.
Yeah, and then we built it up so that the little structure, we used to call it the structure, and we made it with interlocking, so you had a corner that was like this, like linking log style, and it was actually really, really cool with a roof. And then we dug up patches of moss, like 2 by 2 squares of it, and then we like tacked it onto the sides so it was like windproof and shit. It was actually really cool. Me, Pat, Sean, Stevie, and I think Cuba was there a couple times helping us with it. It was actually really cool. It was a cool thing to do, like Bear Grylls style, you know.
And if you ever need BB pellets, all you have to do is go there because they're all over the ground. So many of them.
And they are not the biodegradable ones either.
Nope, they're gonna be there till the fucking cockroaches take over the world.
Yep. Maybe they'll be like bottle caps when Fallout comes. You know.
Yeah, you're going to
But
disappoint a lot of metal detectorists.
Oh, no, they're the plastic ones. They're the
Oh, really?
airsoft BBs.
Oh, Jesus.
Then again,
Shoot each other.
people go shooting out on the island too, so I mean, you might find some shell casings and stuff. Dude, I'll never forget the time I scared the shit out of you and I think Sean making like the Bigfoot noise.
Because it sound because of the way if you made it now, you'd look, for lack of better words, you'd look like a retard having a fit. You'd be like, blah, like
I
you just
probably
wouldn't look. I know, but the way it reverberated through the trees, and like you were standing on a hill, and then there's like valley, and then we were on like the other side of like just the way the sound traveled.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, it was like, we're gonna be out there. Just meet us out there." So I get there, they're already there. Cross the bridge, trape through the woods to find where they are, and I could see them off in the distance. So I'm like, I'm just gonna mess with them. So like I just like stood there and I went, oh, and I this exact face, that exact noise, just louder, and then I ducked behind a tree. And it sounded so stupid to me. Like this, I did sound like. I was thinking
Tarzan?
like Arnold from Predator, but it was the exact opposite of Arnold from Predator. But then like I look at them and they're just sitting down there hanging, and they hear the noise and they're like, whoo! Like they look like the SpongeBob meme. They're like hunched down. They turn, their brow goes forward. And they're like, looking everywhere, and like I step out behind the tree, and they're like, "You motherfucker!"
Well, because it sound like I said, the way the sound traveled, it sounded like, and this is going to be another story that the listeners don't know about. It sounded like the noise you would imagine the snot gobbler would make. You know what I mean? Like when it's looking for a mate. You know what I mean?
That's a tale for another day. But I know exactly what you mean. I wish I could. I wish I heard it. I wish I heard it from your perspective.
It was really weird. We'll have to go out there and do some sound tests. You know?
But this week we're not talking about islands and fishing and sound and Yetis?
Snot gobblers.
Snot gobblers. We are talking about E3. E3 is currently going on. Tomorrow is its last day. It's the 14th today, I think. So tomorrow's the last day, but we will we'll talk about what has been covered today. Well, the last 4 days really of E3. So I have techradar.com up here, and this is where I'm pulling all of my information here. So I'll just go down the line of what they
We'll
have.
comment.
Yeah. We'll start with Nintendo here. The Nintendo announcements of E3. So they've announced Metroid Prime 4 coming to the Switch. Okay, I mean,
They're actually they're making
excited.
2 Metroid games actually.
Yes.
Rapid fire.
Well,
We'll figure out what's
the other
cream of
one
the
is
crop.
for the 3DS. So I haven't played a Metroid since maybe Metroid 2 or something.
Yeah, me neither.
I was never a fan of Metroid, to be honest. I heard really good things, but I never really got into it. It wasn't something that I was a original Nintendo, and then I jumped to Sega Genesis, and I think Metroid was only on Nintendo.
Yeah.
I never had a Super Nintendo, so there's a whole.
You never had a Super Nintendo?
No, my friend did though, who lived across the street.
Super
So this
Nintendo was
I
like
would-
the epitome of gaming. Like that was the best gaming system.
I was a Sega kid too, man. I had to use
I
Dave
like-
for my Super Nintendo experiences.
I would actually rent games from back when it was Major Video. I don't know if you guys. Ooh, that was before Blockbuster. I would rent. I would save up my lunch money, and I would rent Super Nintendo games just to bring them over my friend's house next door to play them. But it was always a real gamble because he would sometimes go. He lived with his dad, but his parents were divorced, so sometimes we'd be at his mom's. So I'd rent a game not knowing, and then I'd go over, and he wouldn't be there. So his dad, isn't going to let me hang out at his house. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't a creep like that. So I'd be like, "Oh, I have to rented this game that I can't even play." So yeah.
Okay,
Still-
bye.
still a little bit of-
So there's a just a mainline Pokemon game that's coming to the Switch. That no details. It's just a new Pokemon game. That's not a mobile
Next.
thing. So
Well, that's actually pretty cool. I like that because we haven't had. If there's one thing that we've I love the original Pokemon games. I stopped after Gold and Silver because I got a little too old and it just wasn't. You know what I mean? I don't know.
this would be
that
cool
was
if
on-
it's an RPG. But
Well, yeah, that's
I
what I
don't-
think it's going to be.
I doubt it. They have never made an RPG Pokemon game for a console. It's always been for like the Game Boy or something mobile. Every Pokemon game has been like the Pokemon picture game or something stupid like that.
Tournament and shit like that.
Yeah, there's never been a good
actually
Pokemon game.
They just came out with one that's called, I think you just said tournament or some sort. I think it's like Pokemon Tournament, which if you take Tekken, if you take like Tekken and Pokemon and Smash together, I think it's just a fighting game with Pokemon.
That's stupid. Like, you should be making a Zelda-type game with Pokemon. Explore a freaking world. Go out into
No,
the
you
woods
need to
and
be
catch
doing a
shit.
fucking RPG. Like, the state of the spirit of the original game. You're trying to catch all the fucking things. You encounter one in the woods. You fight it with one of your other ones, and you turn base. Or, I would prefer they stay with, like, a turn-based thing, just because I'm fucking old school, and that's how I think, like, a good RPG should be. But, I mean, you could do the modern RPG thing where, you fight them fluidly. I don't know if there's, like, a name for it. Like Kingdom Hearts, and Mass Effect. Like,
That's just flow combat.
yeah, they say it's RPG, but I'm like, it's not really RPG. In RPG, you have to wait for your turn.
I am a big fan. One of my favorite games is Final Fantasy VII, and that had turn-based combat. It had active turn-based combat, so you could like increase, to make your little. It had like a bar that would fill up, and then you could use your attack. You know what I mean? If Izzy knew, I don't know if you guys ever played it, right?
Yeah, but I think it was it wasn't until Kingdom Hearts. I think that was like the first game that did like the fluid combat in an RPG. Because even Knights of the Old Republic was still like pretty much turn-based RPG, like with the lightsabers and the blasters.
Right, but I prefer turn-based personally. I think it's a little bit more strategic, I guess you could say, in an old school way. You have to plan moves in a certain order instead of just being really fast.
Yeah,
Or
and
like-
that's true RPG in my humble opinion.
I hate button mashing.
I still like these new RPGs, but they don't feel like, I don't think of them as an RPG. I feel as if like, they call them an RPG, but only because the fact that you are role playing as the character. But I'm like, that's every single game. An RPG was you're playing as this character, and it's a turn-based combat system.
Well, that and the RPG is your character. Anything can be an RPG because your character grows. That's what an RPG. That's a defining characteristic of an RPG.
Yeah,
is the growth of a character that is you. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I know what you mean. I totally agree. But if there's one thing that our generation, I'll say, has been wanting out of a Pokemon game, is a more adult, like, theme. Not that sounds pornographic, and I don't mean it to, but a more adultish or a more mature console game. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have an actual adult version of a Pokemon style game where it's like Breath of the Wild or something like Skyrim, where instead of killing the dragons or creatures, you collect them and you can use them on your side like a Final Fantasy summon of some sort. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then you have to fight like the dickhead of the neighborhood who's going to take over the world because he found more Pokemon.
Right, like think about like Team Rocket, like from the old game. Like they always had this buffoonish, like, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to steal all the Pokemon and sell them for money. You can turn that into an active, like you're using animals to fight and kill other fucking animals. Like that is it sounds fucked up to say, but it's like a badass old school, like warrior type thing.
Charizard,
you know what I mean?
Use head rip.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like use flamethrower, and you just crisp up somebody's fucking caterpie.
Tie it into Telltale games, and we'll have a great game here.
Right. You know?
Weezing has been ruptured. He is deflating, dying soon.
Team Rocket's blasting off again. It's just splat. Yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it. I would love to see a console mature version of a Pokemon game.
Team Rocket has been
know if I
arrested.
want to hear like anything else that Nintendo announced because I've so written them off at this point that I don't even like. Who gives a shit?
Well, you shouldn't, sir, because Super Mario Odyssey got. They gave him a more like a gameplay trailer, and it looks fucking good. It's fucking Super Mario 64 on fucking crack. None of that Mario Sunshine. You gotta go cleaning up the world with like a backpack of water bullshit. No, this is definitely the successor to Mario 64. Just crazier worlds.
Didn't everybody like Sunshine? Wasn't that like Universe? No, I'm thinking is it Super Mario Galaxy? That's the one everybody.
Yeah, right? I don't know. Galaxy. I don't know. I don't think Galaxy was likable, but Mario 64, like, I think that just holds a special place in people's hearts, which the other two games they tried to do, but like Nintendo does, they do the same thing but try to make it different. This looks like they're
fuck it up.
This looks like they're just doing Mario 64 on crack. Way better graphics,
but
new crazy
I'll never know
worlds.
Because I stopped investing in Nintendo years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get a Switch if I can find one like used on the side of the road. It's got needles sticking out of its arms. Yeah, that's when I'll pick it up.
I can't follow anything Nintendo's doing. I mean, I won't buy a Switch. It'll be really cool if they do neat things, and come back from them. But I consider it the brink because
it's funny because I've been watching like the EA coverage or E3 coverage. I mean, and it's like the next hit in gaming coming live, blah 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 on YouTube, and they'll show all these clips from like the PlayStation thing, the EA thing, the Xbox thing, and then it shows Nintendo, and it looks like it was from 15 fucking years ago, and you're like, ugh. I can't even look at you after like you don't show a PlayStation game and then immediately a Nintendo game.
Oh, this is something that's un-Nintendo. Is the last thing from Nintendo news-wise? They announced 2 DLCs for Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is fucking weird. I've never heard of Nintendo with any DLC, let alone a Zelda game with DLC. I'm like that's
because Zelda is the only game that they fucking have, so they have to milk it. I told you this was going to happen.
No, but it's
like
everyone
was pissed off at Nintendo because they were doing DLC this time around.
It's so weird. I mean, with us, a Zelda game with DLC.
But I don't disagree. I do not disagree with it though. Hot take, bam, unpopular opinion. I do not disagree because, as far as I can tell, Breath of the Wild was a complete game that was fantastic. So all Nintendo's doing is giving you more of what you want.
That's
as long
fine.
as the DLC's worth it.
Yeah.
If all it is like, if it's like $15 for like stupid costumes and like a extra patterns on like a shield or something, then fuck all that noise. But if they give you more content, like actual storylines and stuff like that, then that's great. Good for them, because it's not like they didn't pull up like a EA and cut shit out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Mass Effect, when they like literally went in and they carved out pieces of the storyline and charged you more money for it after.
Right.
So it's weird like that Nintendo's getting in on that, but it's not like they're making to go back and make a Pokemon reference. It's not like they're going back and saying, we've got 125 Pokemon out now, so that's an awesome. And then for an extra $10, you can get the other 25. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, no, they're doing DLC the right way. Where, like you said, DLC, in my opinion, is supposed to be in addition to the game, not the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. You pay a set price, and if you want, and you get a complete story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's something that I'm really actually pissed off about. Say Metal Gear, the Phantom Pain. Jesus Christ, excuse me. Phantom Pain, as that game. Although it's wonderful, I know it's a few years old now, but I just kind of got around to it in the past year playing it. But that game, they completely dropped the ball and fucked up, because that game is only half a game, and there's like a whole online component to it where you can like play against friends, with friends, and shit like that. And then they sold stuff for the game. But half that game is great, and then literally the missions, you replay the same missions you played in the first one with extra difficulty settings, and that's it. It's bullshit. So I mean, I would really, really like to see people or developers stop with that kind of shit, where they make a game and then chop out pieces and
the only way they'll stop is if people just stop buying the DLC. That's the only way.
But something that I've also seen is a lot of people saying fuck buying DLC because it's not worth it in a lot of cases. And a lot of people are saying fuck pre-orders, because all that does is encourage those developers to do that kind of shit, because to have the money.
Yeah, after Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm done with pre-orders.
You said that after Mass Effect 3, so I don't believe
that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. Mass Effect 3 pre-orders gave me the entire game. This one, it gave me the entire game, but that game was a piece of fucking shit. Like, you took my trust and you shat all over it. You don't get my money ever again. And like, every game for Xbox has been such a fucking disappointment. And yeah, fuck it. Fuck you. I'm waiting for goddamn like a month of reviews.
You're coming to our side. You're gonna have a PS4.
So speaking of PS4, here's what's Sony news on from E3. So Spider-Man is definitely probably the biggest thing to come out. The gameplay trailer for Spider-Man came out, and I think, who was it? You, Roy, put it best. It's like Arkham Asylum meets Spider-Man, essentially. Which I'm totally not opposed to, because the Arkham games were great. You know what I mean? Like the Arkham, is it even the same developer? Because it looked uncannily like it. I mean, even I don't know. It looked really cool. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure who the developer is. But I mean, the gameplay, it looks great, and it definitely has like the awesome Spider-Man movements, like the different ways you web dudes and just sneak up on them, and just when he's just on the ground actually fighting them. Very Arkham Asylum, but very uniquely Spider-Man.
Yeah, like the way Spider-Man has a way of doing it, and it's funny because in the Arkham games, Batman does it too. And I actually thought about this years ago during the first Arkham Asylum game. He has this move where, if you're in a crowd of people and you want to like hop over people, have you guys played them? The Arkham games?
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay. When you want to like get out of like the circle of people that you're gonna get fucked up by, you like hop over someone's shoulders. He like and does like a front flip over them. You know what I mean? Like to get out of the way. And I always thought, I was like, that doesn't look like Batman. That looks like something Spider-Man would. And they did it in that. And the way he did it, they nailed it. Like he loads up real tight and then springs, and he's like all long and lanky and shit. It looks.
And I do like how they he makes little wise ass remarks. It's like you have to. It's Spider. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Is that the voice? Is that the actor who's doing that? Because whoever they chose sounds. I like the voice. It's like the perfect Peter Parker Spider-Man.
I don't know.
voice.
I was wondering that much. I didn't look into it, but it's either
Is it
Tom
Avengers?
Holland or right. Tom Holland is the name, the kid who plays him.
Yeah.
It's either him
new-
or someone who really sounds like him. Yeah, because it is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was really good. The only thing that weirded me out during that was when he was web slinging, and then he landed on the building and for like 100 feet just ran straight up the side of the building, just like straight up running. Like it was really weird. But
Yeah, but I mean he could do that. That's one of his powers. You know, it's
and another thing that I like about that gameplay trailer is that game. I haven't played it. Nobody has yet, but that game looks like it does QTEs the right way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's insta-death or anything like that, or insta-fail. But, you know, we all know QTEs in games. I mean, probably Resident Evil 4 or 5 is probably, like, the worst one. You know what I mean? Like, when you miss a button, you get stabbed and you die. And it's ridiculous. Nobody likes QTE, QuickTime events, in games. But this one looks like it does it right. Like, it slows down.
I don't know. I like the Resident Evil 4 if you didn't quite hit the button fast enough, and against the chainsaw dude, like he chainsaws your head off, and the controller's sitting there vibrating. You're like, my head, and I can't do anything to stop it.
I think it's actually 5 is the one that I'm thinking of, where you're in a knife fight with a guy, and and it's like it is notorious. If you look up worst QTE offenders on YouTube, it's number 1 every time because you have to be perfectly correct for like at least fucking a dozen button presses. You have to be on point. And it switches each time, so it'll be like, mash square, mash triangle, back to square. And if you fuck up, it's insta-death like that. It's bullshit. So this game at least looks like it.
True to life.
I know, but still, it sucked. I don't play games like that to be true to life.
God of War is, they announced. And that's all it's called. It's not called God of War 4, or thus far has no subtitle. It's just God of War, and they say it's a soft reboot, the quote, soft reboot of the series, but clearly still a continuation from God of War 3, and it looks fucking awesome. I'll put up the trailer. I'll put up all the trailer and the gameplay when I put the show notes up on the website for this episode. This thing looks fucking beautiful. Oh my god. It's just,
I know what my Halloween costume is going to be for
yes. You're not as big as he is, but I mean, it'll work.
Man, I'll have to just bulk up. A lot of creatine. A lot of creatine, HGH, steroids. I'll be eating cow balls. I don't know. Anything.
Pump up from now to October. Yeah, no, this looks great. It's fucking it's almost like the last I watched like a 10-minute gameplay trailer of it, and it's like The Last of Us meets God of War, because you're Kratos again, but you're with, I'm assuming, like your son, like you're like a little boy, and but you're in, like, doesn't say specifically, but you're in the land of the Norse gods, so you're like in Norway or Denmark, Sweden, somewhere up there. And
the Northlands.
Yes, it just looks fucking awesome. I like that he's got an axe. I was never a huge fan of his chain weapon thing. He's got like some sort of mystical axe.
Those are the Chaos Blades, or the Blades of Athena. Now, those work for that type of game, though, because this is the difference. This is why I like this new one so much better. Because I played the first two, and they were okay. They were a lot of fun for what they were. But they were beat-em-ups, hack and slash.
Yeah.
Like a three-quarters view a lot of the time, downwards. And it was just kill as many of the enemies in a row as you can. Like it had some cool RPG elements where you would, like, earn new skills and build up stuff. But it didn't have that. And the narrative for the first game was okay, but it got real cheesy. This made a big switch to this one, to where it's a over-the-shoulder, like a Last of Us or whatever. But it's all the games are doing that nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I like about this one is and
it's narratively driven.
Yes, definitely. And let me start over. The thing with the first one, it is cheesy and kind of campy, but I think it's supposed to be like that. They never intended to make sequels. They never thought that game was going to do as good as it did, especially with the way it ended. You killed Zeus and you become the god, and like it shows you like you're the god of war through the modern times. But then they're like, oh shit, this game became so good, like so popular, we have to do a sequel, and then in the sequel, you're suddenly not the God of War. It takes away the ending of that first game, and you know what I mean?
but not in a bad way, because they did it well. Did you play the second one?
No.
All right,
I just know that like you're stripped of your position as like the God of War, and you're seeking like revenge on Zeus or
right. But
yeah,
the game, like the different things you did in the game, totally made up for it. Like, you know, I mean, when you're climbing up the Titan Kronos, who's carrying a giant stone around the desert for eternity, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you get up and you stab him in the face with this giant thing. Like, it's badass. It just totally works. And then you get to the point where you say, "Is this a story? Like, what is going on?" I don't give a shit.
Speaking of that, did you guys see they're bringing back Shadow of the Colossus?
I did see that. Yep, that's a HD remake, right?
Yeah. So, and that game, it went so under people's radar for PlayStation 2. I still have it for PlayStation 2 just because it's such a fucking phenomenal game. But yeah, they're bringing it back for PS4 in HD because that had some amazing gameplay. Like, the story was weak, but the gameplay was so freaking good. You were just like, holy crap! I'm surprised it took them this long.
That was a sequel to Ico, I want to say, or like a spiritual successor to Ico.
Yeah.
Ico.
Well, they had a third.
And then they had that
one that was
that
weird dog thing.
Yeah, the weird like dragon hawk dog or whatever the fuck it was looked really, really cool, but
yeah,
I didn't get into it. I mean, I'm really got to kind of scrimp, and my games that I'm going for are narratively driven, excellent games like that. You know.
Yep.
So rounding up the Sony games, we got Call of Duty World War II, which looks awesome. I know Roy and I are excited for that. Aaron doesn't care. But I like it going back to classic Call of Duty, essentially, because like the first few were set in World War II. And so I think this is going to be cool. And then Destiny 2. They will get exclusive content on Sony systems.
Yeah. Destiny, I couldn't give a shit about because I hate games now that like random loot drops and all that shit. I can't stand those type of games. You won't find.
The first one burned me too much on that one too. That was one of the ones where everyone was saying how awesome it was going to be. It's like it's going to be a Mass Effect meets Halo. And that's how they were kind of marketing it. And I got it, and it was just the worst.
First game had really good potential, but what they should do is they should Titanfall. Titanfall fucked up their first game, learned their mistakes, and then they made an excellent, by all accounts, second game. They had a really good storyline along with the great gameplay from the first one. Because the only thing that the first one was missing was the storyline. And that's what this game should have done for Destiny 2, is keep the gunplay, which by all accounts was great. Nobody had a complaint about, besides the DLC and the random loot drops, you know what I mean? Nobody had a complaint about that. So throw in a great narrative, throw in a good storyline, turn it into basically Halo, and you'd have a great game. But
it's one thing this past generation with Xbox, like all their games, the ones that I've invested in, the ones that they've hyped up as these huge fucking things with cool trailers and shit, I invest in it and it's burned me every single time. I pre-ordered fucking Titanfall 1 when Xbox first came out, half a game, fucking Destiny, half a game. And you're just getting this over and over again. And that's why I was psyched, because
Destiny was half of $500 million. That's $500 million fucking bucks.
Exactly. You can't put a narrative behind that. Like fuck you. Like Halo 1 was amazing, which is also why I invested in it. So it had like the name of Halo 1. Plus they continued with their narrative games all throughout the Halos. And granted, that kind of meandered near the end, but you know, at least they tried. But
yeah, well, after Halo 3, I think the original team left. So that's why, I mean,
because Halo 3 is supposed to be the end of the story.
Right, but then, you know, you want to keep that horse going, that old fucking tired horse. So obviously there's a natural decline on those. But
I invested in that, invested in fucking just tons of games that were fucking half games.
Here's what you're going to invest in. Because they also announced a bunch of stuff for the VR for the PlayStation. And that's what you've been going all goo goo gaga about, because you're obsessed with smell-o-vision and virtual reality.
Ever since E3 last year, Xbox announced the Scorpio. Oh, we're coming out with the Scorpio next year. And they released the fucking S, which was just a smaller Xbox One, right? So I've been waiting a year for this Christmas to come around for the Scorpio. Like, okay, I'm gonna get this system. It's gonna be great. They have Oculus in their pocket. Basically, they're definitely got to tie it in with this hyperdrive Xbox that they're coming out with, and not one goddamn mention of VR this year. Not one fucking thing. Meanwhile, PlayStation Pro and VR have been out for a year. I could have been playing that shit.
Yep.
So again,
PlayStation's better.
We come to E3 2017, and all we hear is we have this great fucking box that's super powerful that you don't have anything to play with it. Like, fuck you. Meanwhile, PlayStation over there, majority of every game, was like this gorgeous masterpiece of technology and storytelling. What the fuck are you doing?
Leading the charge for their VR headset is Skyrim. So you'll be able to play Skyrim in virtual reality.
I mean,
that's pretty cool. As long as it's all
Fallout,
HD.
though. Fallout in VR.
I believe that's part of it too. Yeah,
So-
you can do. I think Fallout 4 in VR is also in there. Yep.
I can't wait to see Cuba fuck up in Fallout 4 playing VR.
I'm not
Last
gonna
time
play
we
no
played, he-
fucking VR.
He accidentally killed all the villagers. I remember me, him, and Izzy were
Accidentally?
hanging out. Yeah, well, like they were like, "Oh no, the orcs are approaching! Lay down mines so the goblins don't get us," or whatever the radiation
I
monsters are.
didn't kill everybody.
And they were like all running in so he could protect them. They were like running into the house, and before they got there, in front of them, he's like laying mines, and they're just blowing up and shit. And then
I didn't know that my mines would kill them.
So they're all just dying. I'm like, dude. And even Izzy was like, dude. Like, she didn't say, like, honey, what are you doing? And she was just like, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
She gives
And then
me
he,
so much
worst.
shit when I'm playing
then-
games. She's like, like, were you there when I had to
save the guy,
save
and
the
then he got
dude?
eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, we've got to go save my brother. Please help me. Our boyfriend, whatever it was, like, you need to come help me. And he was like, aye, I'll help you.
I was
So
busy
the-
looting.
the brave guy- Now, he didn't know it was timed. You know what I mean?
No,
because they were
there
like,
was no timer or anything.
but he basically the character said, if you don't get there in time, we have to be quick because they'll rape and eat my friend. And what did he do? He spent like 20 minutes going along all the walls and stalls of a bathroom with the locker, just hitting like tapping the button just to see if like a prompt would come up. Just like,
Dude,
like it would just
that's what I
running
do in a
straight
game,
into
man.
the
I
wall.
loot. That's my thing. I need all the shit. And how many games do you play where they go, please save so and so, but there's no time limit. Nothing's going to happen to them until you get to like over there and fight the thing. How was I supposed to know that? Saying, quick, hurry up and get to him. No, they're actually gonna go rape and eat his brains. I didn't know.
you got his friend booty holed and eaten. That's
But
on you.
You know what? I got my loot. So
Man,
Either way, I'm excited for the VR, Skyrim, and Fallout, for sure. But I have to buy a fucking PS4 Pro.
yeah. Do you think Battlefront 2 will eventually come out for VR?
I hope so.
I think
But-
That'd be a pretty big faux pas if they didn't.
Battlefront or Battlefield.
Battlefront 2.
I mean, they tested it with the first Battlefront, so I can't imagine. Maybe it'll come out as missions, like specific missions for VR, like they did for the last one. But they only just announced this one, so we won't hear about that until much later.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does anybody care about what Ubisoft announced?
Nope, didn't watch it.
All right. Well, I'll just Far Cry 5, Beyond Good and Evil 2, Skull and Bones,
Assassin's
something
Creed
involving
Origins.
Mario and
Rabbids.
Kingdom. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then Assassin's Creed Origins.
I watched did you guys watch that? I sent it to you.
Yeah, the graphics didn't look very good.
Really? You didn't think
Yeah.
so?
I didn't see it.
I thought it looked pretty good.
I
PC
turned it off
gaming.
after like 25 minutes in, or 25% in, because I was like, it doesn't look very good. And I haven't played the other one, so
Oh, so yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed games. I haven't played the last couple because they were for a system I didn't own, which I own now. But also, I heard good and bad things. Like, they were doing this 1-year cycle thing, and it just wasn't working. Like, their games were steadily declining in quality because they were just trying to turn them around too fast. So they actually took, I think it was 2.5 years off to make this one game. You know what I mean? So it's supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah,
Let's
I
hope.
never got into the Assassin's Creed. I hope you're right. I mean, would be
At
I mean, I got
least
2,
play-
3, and Black Flag for free from Xbox Live. So
At least play Black Flag, if only for the best pirate game you've ever played in your life. It's awesome. That is the best pirate game ever. I want a Pirates of the Caribbean game made like this. It's fucking fantastic. I highly recommend.
So they PC gaming. I'm not going to go into too much because none of it's
PC Master Race.
none of it's that good, and none of us play PC games. But they are remastering the original Age of Empires, which is kind of cool. It might be like third, fourth on my list of like strategy games that I used to play on the PC, because it was cool that you start off in the Bronze Age and like you fashion like a little village and stone tools and shit like that, and then you go all the way, make your way progressively to like the time. I think the game ends in like the time right before the Roman Empire or something like that. It was a cool game. So like seeing it remastered is pretty cool. And
I was gonna say that's basically like Civilization, right?
yeah, I think
one of those
Civilization
four-
came out after.
It's a 4X game, I believe, is the genre. It's expand, explore, exterminate, and then something else is like
Oh,
the 4X.
Always just
Sims War.
Strategy games is what I always was.
Yeah,
told they
but
were called.
they're for there's a term for them. They break down into like wider genre, narrower genres too. So.
Bethesda. These are their announcements.
Badusta.
Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch. Wolfenstein 2.
That's cool.
The Evil Within 2. I didn't.
Doom
play the first
VR.
one. And Fallout 4 and Doom, both in VR. Yes. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, Doom in VR. That's gonna be some scary fucking shit. Like, I don't think
Seriously.
I couldn't play that.
I think we should all invest in a business of a gym, but like with VR glasses and those runny treadmills.
They
And
have
just have
Yeah, those
something-
exist already.
Well,
Yeah, well,
I'm saying
they're
here.
they're building one. I saw it on Facebook. I'll have to dig up the articles wherever. It's called The Warehouse, where you wear the gear, so it's WEAR, and everybody has the goggles and like these like what do they call it? The vest haptic technology. So when you get shot, it like vibrates or stings you or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I want one of those.
You know what we need instead of like paintball or laser tag or anything like that? We need the laser tag that they had in Starship Troopers when they were training.
We've been all wanting that for years, Cuba.
You imagine that?
Just get tased every
Take
single
your
time we play.
take your helmet off.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Man, that's such a good scene. That's such a good move. They're coming out with another one, an animated one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had
You
an
guys
animated series for a while on Fox.
I know, but it's like a 3D animated
Successor.
movie. Yeah, it's an actual legit movie.
I don't think any
Written by the guy who did the first one.
Yeah, written by the guy
nothing's
who
been
did
able
the,
to top that first one. Like that is one of those just so unique, timeless.
Yeah.
It works. Microsoft. So we got Microsoft announcements. So like Aaron mentioned before, we have the Xbox One X, which is what the Project Scorpio was and is. And
All right, so the Scorpio is now called the One X.
yes,
Yep.
it is the most powerful gaming console ever created, according to what
That
they're
it is.
saying.
It's got like it's teraflops instead of gigabyte, ever, right?
Yeah,
Or terabytes,
it's-
teraflops. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've got it
it's
right
got
here.
it's got a 6 teraflop GPU, 12 gigabyte DDR5 memory, and 326 gigabytes of memory bandwidth. So I mean, this thing's fucking.
Those are high
It's a
numbers.
souped up machine.
It's
got-
intense.
Yeah, those are high. That's basically okay, great. What you got? What you got to show me?
It's got backwards compatibility.
What's
So
in this
With
for
what?
me?
with the
Well,
old
with what?
Xbox.
With the
The
regular.
backwards with the old Xbox,
So-
the first Xbox. So like Jade Empire is going to work now.
What
Fuck it.
about the 360?
It's
that
not
too,
work with-
I'm sure.
wait,
So is it with the 360 and the original Xbox,
Yeah,
or just the original Xbox?
both.
are you sure?
I was gonna say because
Yeah,
I was
because
gonna say
Xbox One right now does the 360 stuff. So this is just a souped up Xbox One.
Yeah, but wouldn't they need to I don't know, like do something to the original Xbox games to make them play on a new thing?
Make it digital. That's what the flops are for, man.
That's what the flops are for.
Oh, the flops! So many flops. But no, the thing I don't get is that, like, the reason the PlayStation 3 originally didn't play, or they only made a certain amount, they were huge, and those original runs played PlayStation 2 and 1 games, but the hardware was super expensive. It was going to keep the price up really high. So they made the units smaller, and they knocked out the backwards compatibility for I want to say the PlayStation 2. So you can still play PlayStation 1 games on it, but you can't play PlayStation 2, stupidly. I'm surprised that they'd be able to get all that in a smaller... The Xbox One X is supposed to be smaller. It's supposed to be the smallest PlayStation yet, right?
Xbox, it's pretty small.
And it only costs $500. So
only?
Either
that's $500 is still pretty damn steep.
Yep, that's $1,000.
Yeah, but for something that powerful...
I guess the plus side is you don't have to buy new controllers and stuff because it'll use the same controllers as the Xbox One.
But if you were going to buy a PC or build, that with all the flops and the bytes and all this mumbo jumbo, it'd probably cost way more than $500. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So,
I can ask Liz. She has a custom built gaming PC that she doesn't use in the closet.
I feel like $500 isn't that what the PlayStation 4 debuted at? I think it was around like $450 or something like that.
Is it?
PS Pro right now is $399. So
now, yeah. But when the first cycle of PS4s came out, or the Xbox,
I thought it was 4, but I thought they both leveled at 4. But
too damn expensive, all of them. That's what they are.
You see, the PS4s were cheaper than the Xbox, and I thought the Xboxes were around $500 already for the Xbox One. Because remember when PlayStation debuted at their stuff at E3, they were laughing. There was remember that whole huge thing we talked about on the old podcast years ago, where they were going to have all that DRM stuff where you couldn't play games offline, and PlayStation basically came in and say, we're not going to do that. We're the cool guys. Oh, and it's $100 fucking cheaper. Remember that? So
yeah.
the PS4
and didn't Xbox mock up a PlayStation and slap an Xbox on it?
I don't know. They did
to play the games.
It was something like that because they weren't as ready as Sony was.
Yeah, they did something really weird where they totally fucked up in the beginning of that cycle. And then I want to say it cost $500 to start with. And then PlayStation...
They've been playing catch up ever since.
Yeah, PlayStation cost $400, so that was the big thing. So the fact that the Xbox One X with all that shit cost the same as the original Xbox One when it debuted 5 years ago, is actually huge progress. But it's almost a weird sign because it shows do they know that they fucked up and then they're so far behind? So this is them trying to get ahead. You know what I mean?
Basically,
I don't know.
They're still behind the 8 ball. They're turning into to fucking Nintendo. You're not adopting the technologies you need to with the fucking technology you're trying to jump up to.
Yeah, like Aaron said, there's no VR. With all the flops attached to this thing, you'd think that they would flop in some VR. If you have the most powerful gaming system ever created.
I want to see those flops in 3D.
3D flops.
I don't even want or like the VR thing, but it seems from a marketing standpoint a major miss to not.
I feel like my son just got a D in math. I'm just very upset.
and on top of that, it's all this.
So you're gonna not play with him anymore, and you're gonna buy a new son.
You gotta go back and study.
Closet?
You go back into your room and you think about what you did.
On top of everything, with all this impressive power and all the flops, it's just so fun to say flops. With all of that, there's no good games for
that's the thing.
Microsoft. They have here Forza 7. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Forza, the
racing game.
Car racing game.
Crackdown 3,
every year.
Anthem, and Assassin's Creed Origins. Those.
Anthem looks cool, but remember what I was telling you guys about the pre-order and how it's a big thing now. Nobody's pre-ordering shit.
Yeah.
Plus
that's
it's BioWare,
the game.
And after getting Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm watching Courtney play Dragon Age Inquisition, and it just looks like all of the the vision has been poured out of that company, and they're just kind of hanging on by namesake and just creating generic RPGs that have like pretty good graphics, but there's no investment in any of the fucking characters or the storyline. So BioWare, you have to win me over with Anthem. The only thing it has going for it is that it was started by Casey Hudson before he left for Microsoft. It's the only thing it has going for it.
Yeah, before he left, but it's like that's just like someone finishing up someone else's book. The hell's gonna make you think it's gonna be as good as when the original dude who wrote it?
Exactly. So yeah, no. I mean, and you can't have bad. I saw this somewhere else. You can't have bad facial animation if you cover the faces, like the armor.
Which did I tell you? Oh, you're playing Injustice, right? Right, Aaron? Yeah. How good is that facial animation?
It pisses me off even more when I watch fucking Mass Effect Andromeda. You literally NetherRealm Studio, God bless them, because they have turned the fighting game genre into a thing I can invest in. I know I'm going to get a quality product. It's not just going to be some generic fighting garbage bullshit. They put full-on cinematic storylines at work in this game. It's insane. And they got facial scanning technology for the animation, so the people look real as shit, and it creeps me the fuck out every time I watch it. But I'm like, oh, this is so cool. It's the Batman versus Superman movie that we didn't get, and it incorporates all the different Justice League characters. It's fantastic. I highly recommend Injustice.
Yeah, the narrative looks pretty cool too.
Not only that, they took everything that they've done with Mortal Kombat and the old Injustice, and they've added this Nether Realms or alternate worlds kind of multiplayer thing. So as you're fighting and building up your character gets rare or epic or common legs, and you can mix and match them and change their colors if you want to. And then you can go into multiplayer, which is a alternate worlds universe thing, and you can fight people online, and their Joker is going to look nothing like your fucking Joker, and you get shit that boosts certain abilities, so they totally customized it. I think they just created a tournament with it now because it's so fucking good. Go get this fucking game. It is worth every penny.
I spent a good 45 minutes just watching on YouTube all the cutscenes.
Oh, really?
And that's why this is amazing. I just want that condensed as a movie.
There's so many games you can do that with now. It's just watch the game on YouTube via cutscenes.
Brainiac in this game looks so fucking creepy because he looks just like an old dude with just mech all over him.
Well, they went with Silver Age Brainiac. That's how he looked like in the Silver Age.
He looked like he was indoctrinated by the Reapers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And he's voiced by Jeffrey Combs. I love that dude. He's got such a creepy. He has such a creepy way of talking.
Why do I know him?
If you watch either Star Trek Deep Space Nine or Star Trek Enterprise, he was in both of those shows. He was the crazy ass FBI agent in The Frighteners.
I know the name. It's gonna bother me.
He plays these really weird eccentric roles. If you see him, you'll recognize. He's kind of got squinty eyes and pressed lips.
Yeah, he's a fat guy. Oh, what else did he play in? He played the exact same role in everything he fucking does.
Yeah, weird. He's always very weird in every role.
Oh man, it's gonna bug me.
Go watch The Frighteners. That's probably his kind of his craziest fucking role. EA, we got some EA announcements here. None of them are overly exciting except for Battlefront 2, which the gameplay trailer looked fucking good. I am excited for this game now. I'm not sure if I'm going to get it yet. I might. First of all, I'm more excited now because it's got the single player, which is what it desperately needed. And so what's going to actually be the tipping point of buying it is if you get a PlayStation, Aaron. Roy, you already have a PlayStation, so if you two get this game, I'll get this the monthly subscription for the multiplayer as long as you two are going to do the same thing. And then
are you going to pay for us to get it so we can all play together?
No, you do your own fucking monthly payments.
That's the only game that I'd probably do that with because I'm so over the whole shooter thing.
Right, exactly. I'm not.
Honestly, I'm gonna play it at Aaron's before I buy it because everyone was so gaga over the first one, and it just you guys know my complaints on it. It just wasn't a good game. It just was not a good. Beautiful, yes. A but that does not make a good graphics. A good game does not make. You know what I mean? Like just fucking
right. Well, again, I think the biggest downfall of it is that it wasn't. It didn't have a single player. It was just multiplayer.
Yeah.
You cannot cater
another half a game
strictly to multiplayer. Yeah, really. This new one, the narrative that they've come up with for the story is cool. It's from everything I've seen, it's going to be a good story, and then the multiplayer and everything is an added bonus where you can finally play.
Tripled everything in the multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that you can play every era now. The Galactic Civil War is probably my favorite era of Star Wars, but I like that you can now play as the Clone Troopers, either Phase 1 or Phase 2. You can play as the First Order Stormtroopers. I like that. Now we're spanning everything Star Wars. We're not limiting it to just one point. So
why? I want to know in the gameplay trailer why they had Yoda fighting Maul.
I think it's just an example of the multiplayer spanning.
Yeah, like Heroes when they have the hero battles.
Yeah. Did you see the other somewhat controversy fan theory going on with this now? Because they showed Rey's like load up screen, and under weapon it showed it had a lightsaber, but it showed Obi-Wan's lightsaber and or Luke's lightsaber. It doesn't say the name of the lightsaber. It just says like Rey's lightsaber or Rey's weapon or whatever. And people are like, "Oh my God, it's Obi-Wan's lightsaber! She's a Kenobi! She's a Kenobi!" I think,
or she just made a lightsaber that looks like Luke's, and Luke's was based on his master, which was Obi-Wan. That's right. What Padawans
or
and
it's just
always.
A game, and you're playing multiplayer, and you probably have a selection of lightsabers you can pick. Is my theory.
Could be.
Yeah, but I just explained like that's the easiest way to explain that. Luke made his to look like his because that's what Obi-Wan's looked like, and Obi-Wan's looked like his final saber looked like his own. Yes, but his first one looked like Qui-Gon's.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I don't. That's stupid. Tell them people to shut up.
I don't know. It's just people are always grasping for straws. I just thought it was funny that everyone's like, "Oh, it's she's a Kenobi because it's Obi-Wan's lightsaber." I'm like, it's a video game. It's like Yoda never fought Darth Maul, but they showed that too, you motherfuckers. Right. So the rest of the EA games are FIFA 18, Need for Speed Payback, and Anthem were the.
I'm actually pretty excited about the Need for Speed game.
Need for Speed were fun games. I'll give them that for sure.
They were fun when they were like it all started with Need for Speed Underground, where you can like customize your car and make it like however you wanted it. I mean, I played the original Need for Speed for a PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and I had all the cheat codes so you can like play as like the T-Rex car that was like way high and like hit and like flip all over the place. But and they were fun games, you know. You're like driving supercars and whatnot. But then you got into the Underground, Need for Speed Underground, which had like a lame Fast and Furious narrative.
I liked Hot Pursuit.
Hot Pursuit was cool. Are you talking about the newer one or the older one?
The original one. Yeah.
That was a cool one. Again, but there was no story to it. You know what I mean?
It was just fun racing.
It was on a track, and one person would be the cops, or the cops would chase you or whatever.
Yeah.
But in these new ones, like it's the game that kicked it all off. Do you guys remember a game called Driver?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do? It took place in Florida and somewhere, and like basically it was GTA without getting out and shooting people.
Right. Someone would get in and be like, "You have to get here."
Right. Like you'd have to get to places, and it was a really fun game for the time. You know what I mean? But Need for Speed, all
sorts of crazy shit there.
Yeah, like it was cool because you'd hit a jump and like the camera would pan out and you'd sail over it and the cop would chase you. That was really revolutionary for its time. Then Need for Speed took that formula and made it into the Underground series, and those were a lot of fun. And then they lost that. They went back to like a only supercars from point A to point B, really no story. It was just like, we want to be the fastest racer, and it got kind of stupid. This is a throwback to the Underground series, where it's got a Fast and Furious feel to it, and you get to customize your cars and shit. I'm really actually kind of excited.
You know what I always liked, keeping with racing games, was Road Rash and Road Rash 3D, where you were like the bikers. Yeah. I don't that had like no point to it. You're just racing on like fucking street bikes, but you're like throwing elbows and lead pipes at fucking people.
Yeah, I remember the chains. You could like hit some. You could like take their tires off with one hit.
Yeah.
Or you could hit them and they dodge it, and they like you could chase them into oncoming traffic and shit.
Oh, and when you're knocked off your bike or you hit something, the body would just go fucking flying like a rag doll. But then you just get up and you run back to your bike like nothing happened.
I was gonna say that game really was the first time I think I saw the actual ragdoll physics. But like the body would just be like, it's like they had no bones.
Yeah.
Like, where are the bones, sir? Like they'd have joints like where no joints existed. They were aliens just flying around. Great.
That's all the major announcements out of E3 it wasn't on my list, but Aaron's been going gaga for the Dragon Ball game. It's like Dragon Ball Z Fighter, I think is what it's called.
Dragon Fighter Z or
Dragon
something.
Fighter Z. Dragon Fighters with the balls.
Ball Fighters.
Yeah. It looks cool. It's not like the cell animation that they've been doing for like a decade now. It actually looks like the anime. Like it straight up 100% anime animation type of
It looks like Ultimate Battle 22 meets like the new Capcom shit. It looks fucking crazy awesome. I hope it is fantastic.
It does look very cool. I was reading some comments from gamers far more in the know than myself who are saying it's garbage and a waste. But
oh, really?
I don't know. We'll see when it comes. I haven't played a Dragon Ball.
Just
game.
Opinion pieces of whether or not it's a waste or not.
Yeah, it was in a lot of comment section. I don't claim to know or play enough games to know how good these Dragon Ball games are. I haven't played a Dragon Ball game since.
They're all awful.
Well, I mean,
You know,
since Budokai 3.
I think that was
fuck
it.
Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z for a minute, because I got something better. Horizon Zero Dawn is getting an expansion.
Ooh,
that's exciting. Yeah, see, it's
Breaking
called the Frozen Wild. It's called the Frozen Wilds, and it's coming later this year. There's not much information. They have a trailer for it, which it doesn't say, but it's it doesn't say DLC. It says expansion. So this picture right here, it has two characters on a rocky outcropping overlooking it looks like a hot springs almost, but it's one of those cool ones where it's like multicolored because of like the different metals in the water, and there's like steam coming off of it.
So there's some machines going to like Yosemite or something.
Yeah, that's what I would guess. Yosemite.
And they announced another Uncharted Legacies, which deals with the girl.
The Lost Legacy. Also, that Days Gone, they posted a Days Gone by trailer, and I don't know if you guys did you guys ever get into the Monster Hunter games?
No. Oh, but one of the main things that I'm super psyched about, because the game was actually pretty awesome. It was an indie game. What the fuck was it called? The zombie one there.
Days Gone?
Days Gone. It's like GTA, but...
I just had it until you fucking started talking. Fuck.
This is the night of brain farts.
Seriously. Fuck.
It's gonna bother me. Whatever.
My phone. God damn it.
We know which one you're talking about.
Well, anyway, yeah, they had like the first one. The first one was a zombie game, very similar to GTA. You had to go into towns, gather resources, bring them back to your base of operations, expand that. If you found survivors, get them to your thing. If you're searching for shit and you make too much noise, zombies will find you and like attack you. State of Decay. That's what it is. So now they're coming out with number 2, and the main thing that number 1 was missing was multiplayer. That game was fucking phenomenal, but it needed multiplayer. This one actually has up to 4 people you can play with. Fucking finally. I can't wait.
The graphics look pretty good for it, too. Those games always kind of suffer. Like, there's a game called DayZ, which has, for the longest, it's a lot like that. It's in one huge map area, and you and other people have to kind of, like, either work together or fight amongst yourselves, and also you're fighting the zombies. But there's up to, like, 25 people on the map or something like that at once. And you can, like, make... Actually, more. I think it's, like, 60 people. And you can make, like, little groups and clans. So, like, 3 of us would be together. So, like, Cuba would be the recon guy, I'd be the sniper, and Aaron would be the medic. And then we'd come across other groups and decide on the fly, through the voice chat, like, are you guys friendly? Do we gun them down right away now? But like it's cool because these new games like that, like if you and me are all three of us are talking, and like another group approaches us, they'll hear us in the distance.
Huh.
You know what I mean? So then the closer they get, the louder we'll be. So like you literally have to like whisper and sometimes like talk in code to like each other, so the other groups don't know what the fuck you're saying.
I feel like in theory that's a great idea, but they fail to take into account that so many of the people playing games are these fucking like 12-year-olds who don't know how to shut the fuck up.
No, that happens. There's a lot of people who just gun down other people random, like, so you'll have like some people who are like us three in that instance would be working together as a tight unit, clearing out buildings. And then you have one guy who just like kills you for like no reason. He's just like from a distance, he's like, hey, there's people, pop, pop, pop. And he would just murder you. Instead of like, the fun part of that is the role aspect of you're these survivors. And in real life, you wouldn't do, like I play games like that in Airsoft, role-playing games where obviously you can shoot someone with a BB and they're not going to die. They just respawn. They go back to their respawn point and they come back in the game. But in real life, you wouldn't do that. And that's the fun. You know what I mean? So you treat everybody like they only have one life. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to turn around in the middle of the game and kill my friends, you guys, just so I can get your stuff. Like, that's stupid. But there are people
good stuff.
Then you would share with me. You'd be like, all right, well, let's outfit Roy. Let's give him a couple things. And like you make the unit stronger. So this game is supposed to encourage a Walking Dead type scenario where you have like, you know, like two leaders coming together to talk. And then sometimes negotiations break down and you end up in a firefight. Whoever wins, wins, and whoever loses, loses.
It's a Roy Tater ship.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I hope that's what that game becomes like.
What's it called again?
State of Decay 2. Or the one that I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one you're talking about.
The one I'm talking about was DayZ. It's not for PlayStation. It's supposed to be coming to PlayStation, but they've been saying that for like 4 years. But they're taking a very complicated military simulation called Arma 2, which has, like, they calculate the Coriolis effect in sniper shots and shit like that. Like, this game, windage, and, like, if you're shooting through branches or, like, leaves, it affects the bullet. It's a really heavy simulator. So trying to get that from PC to go to the PlayStation and Xbox and all that has
maybe
really
the new Xbox,
the
lots of flops will run it.
The box of flops.
That should have been an announcement with the flops.
Yeah,
that's what this Xbox is. Fucking Xbox flops.
The box of flops. I like that. So, was there anything else from E3?
No,
that was
good. I think
that's it. And 9%.
We still have a day or two of
one more
E3
day. One more. Tomorrow's the last day. Yep.
Maybe they'll make a big announcement for Xbox that'll really
maybe if they make any big earth-shattering announcements, we'll edit it into this episode over the weekend before it airs on Monday. But I don't know. Usually the last day is this kind of closing ceremonies type thing, so I'm not expecting anything big. But right. Hey, here's to hoping to VR on the X flops, and we'll see what other last minute games they'll come up with. But you have been listening to Modern Retro. This has been the E3 2017 review. So visit the website. Whoa, what the fuck was that? Roy's got a poltergeist. What the fuck is going on there?
I got hit with a box.
He got hit with an X flops.
I was going to say his box flopped over on me. What the fuck?
Who are you going to call, Roy?
They slammed him.
Yeah. So we're also. Did you say where we are, Cuba?
Yeah.
iTunes, Stitcher.
Anywhere you listen to a podcast, we're there. This is we're getting close to the end of our mystery box giveaway. So if you want to win a mystery box, you got to go to our iTunes. You've got to leave a rating and a comment, and email us what username you used to leave said rating and comment, and you will be put into a hat to be randomly drawn from to win our mystery box. We are on YouTube, got new videos and snippets and bloopers and who knows what else Aaron puts on there all the time. Check out our Alien movie review. That one went over pretty well.
Condensed of just me swearing to the fucking camera.
And
yeah, if you want to hear like the actual in-depth conversation we had, watch listen to the actual podcast. It goes on for a good hour or so. That's only like the first 10 minutes, well, the 10 minutes of it just crammed into one thing.
Exactly. And check out the TeePublic for some swag, some modern retro swag. This has been Modern Retro. We bid you all adieu. They can't see you saluting, you fucking pricks.
You guys.
What? DNA, SC, IGN, let's go. I'm gonna buy some games. Only got $20 in my wallet. I'm hunting, looking for a trade, and this is freaking awesome. Yeah, I'll hop up on the couch like, what up? I got Black Ops. A couple months late, I was waiting for a price drop. Dude at the game shop's a straight up hater. He's all like,
man, you're a cheap-ass gamer.
Rolling in hella baller, all up in the mini mall. Lara Croft chilling, plastic instruments up on the wall. All the newest games on the demo kiosk next to me. You gotta wash your hands before touching the controllers, please. Ugh. But hey, you get to play for free. About to cop it and then pop it in, but why buy new? I can save a few bucks and get new games used. Wait, it doesn't come with box art? You gotta be kidding. I'ma save my money, wait till this one's in the bargain bin. I don't want your pre-order, I don't want your magazine. No, for real, don't ask again, who cares about the DLC? No, collectible statues and a member discount. A costume pack's not gonna help me with my kill count. They had a broken waiver, I bought a broken waiver. I got some other game just cause it had a sick trailer. Oh whoa, we're next to a Taco Bell, yo. Amazon got nothing on a real store, hell no. I can find some rare games, buy them cheap, sell those. Double XP like, aw, he got them due codes. So shout out to my 90s gamers, bringing them paper slips of Toys R Us up to the front window. What you know about buy one, get one? I'm gonna buy some games, only got $20 in my wallet.